Industries, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's April, and you know what that means? Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Tuesday afternoon to you. And yes, it is time for the McFarland Show here on WNSR. Hope everybody's having a great day to this point. Darren and Justin here with you for the next 2 hours. Adam Johnson is alongside. We are live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio.
Yes, sir.
You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch for the next 2 hours as well, if you want. We look good.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
We always do. We're McFarland's.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Yesterday, only had an abbreviated show in between the Braves doubleheader. So we were on from 3:30 to 4. Obviously got in hot and heavy into everything that happened over the weekend with the Titans draft, but we were only able to get into it a certain level of hot and heavy because, we had 30 minutes. So we did discuss, I think yesterday's real topic was the third round pick.
Yeah.
The running back from Tulane didn't make a lot of sense to me. Just being, just putting that out there from yesterday's conversation. And then the medicals come out, and then it really doesn't make more. That was my feeling before the medicals. Then the medical comes out, report, he doesn't have an ACL and this and that, and he's going to have a short shelf life in the NFL. And I don't understand the pick, even though I know people are high. I've talked to people. They're like the pick, his talent, he's legit. They like him.
Oh, listen.
But there's a but. There's a reason why he went in the third round.
The tape doesn't lie now. The tape is nice.
Yeah.
But, the question is, can he do that, the next level and for how long? I mean, that's going to be the question with him. But there's no denying the pure talent and the ball skills and the vision and the feet. I mean, he's, it's Marshall Faulk-esque, Marshall Faulk-like. I'm not going to call him Marshall Faulk. That's heavy, but it's good. It's really good. I don't know how you don't watch his tape and not be impressed. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm just looking at the tape. Yeah, that's fantastic. But there's a reason, again, why he went in the third round. But let's be honest. The real highlight of the Titans draft that's going to garner the most conversation, and it's not even close, is what they did in the second round. Day 2 to begin on Friday. They traded up, and they grabbed Will Levis, who we know did not get drafted in the first round. I mean, there was a chance we thought maybe 5 quarterbacks go in the first round. Only 3 went. 3 in the first 4 picks. Levis and Hooker did not see the first round. They saw the second round. So Will Levis being selected by the Titans is a lightning rod pick, as you can imagine. A lot of people hate it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like it.
It's a very mixed bag that's out there. People aren't exactly sure what to think of it. And we've got tons and tons and tons of different opinions to hear from out there today. And, Darren, I've been inundating myself with all kinds of opinions from former general managers, former players, former, front office personnel all over ESPN and the various networks about what they think about this. And where we want to start here for our producer over there, the incredible Adam Johnson over there at the board. Can we start with Mike Vrabel and Scott Pioli on Will Levis here? It is the number 2 there. So it is a situation where Mike Vrabel called Will Levis on the phone to let him know that he was the pick. And when, he answered the phone, there was a back and forth there where the two exchanged, how great it was going to be. Vrabel gave him a piece of advice. Right after that, you're going to hear from Scott Pioli. He's the 3-time Super Bowl champion executive in the front office in the NFL. Knows Mike Vrabel very well. You can always tell how well somebody knows Mike Vrabel when they say Vrabes, which you're going to hear here in a second. Of course, they were both with the Patriots organization. Before we hear from Pioli, though, this is the head coach, Mike Vrabel, making the call to his new quarterback.
To me, you got a lot of support around you, and the reason that you're here is because of them. Thank them. Enjoy this, but use this as a heck of an opportunity. There is no chip on your shoulder, dude. You are thankful for this opportunity, and we're excited to have you. You've earned it, and all you have to do is come in here and be a great teammate, learn, and then have some fun along the way, and everything's going to be fine.
Listening to Vrabes talk about what his circumstance and what his situation is going to be, and to not come in with a chip on his shoulder. It's funny hearing Vrabes say that, because he was a 3rd-round pick. Vrabel should have been picked much higher than what he was picked. And he always had that chip. There's always a little bit of him that was ticked off, and he didn't get, when he came to us at the Patriots, he was a free agent that didn't get a very good deal. So Vrabes knows what the chip is about. He knows what it's like to be undervalued, underrespected. This is the perfect place for him. Listening to Vrabel's voice, listen to how he said, did you hear him ready to get, hey, listen to me. Listen to me. And I think if Will Levis pays attention to Mike Vrabel and rolls with Mike Vrabel, it's going to be a really good situation. I think what Will does need to do, he needs to relax a little bit, because I think knowing a little bit about his personality, what he can do is maybe take this too far and be so intense and be trying to fight what happened so bad. Will just needs to breathe, relax, let himself develop, and he really should be fine.
Yeah.
All right, Scott Pioli, former NFL executive, talking there, won Super Bowls and all that kind of great stuff. And clearly has a relationship with Mike Vrabel, and it is saying things.
Well, he was in Kansas City when Vrabel played for the Chiefs. So.
Kansas City and New England. He made the comment of, when he came to us when we were in New England.
Yeah.
So, he's giving his seal of approval for whatever that means, and saying that he just needs to relax and listen to Vrabes, and everything will be fine.
I don't know what that means, but okay. I mean, I'm sitting there listening to that clip. I'm like, I don't even think it's Scott Pioli. I've interviewed him many times. I like him. I just don't know what he was talking about. Like, what does that mean? Like, just get in there and just breathe, and just don't get too excited, and listen to Vrabes, and this is a great place because he just needs to breathe. And
I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for this.
Don't let it get to you too much, and just, this is a good place for him. It's like, what is Scott Pioli talking about? I got to be honest. I'm just sitting there listening to that going, what, Scott, what the hell are you doing? Are you doing a yoga class? What are we doing? Hey, Will,
you really caught me off guard with this. I was not ready for that. I wasn't ready for you to be like this towards this.
Listen to me. Listen to Vrabes.
Okay, I'm listening.
Listen to Vrabes.
Listen to Vrabes.
Will, take a deep breath. Listen to Vrabes. It's going to be fine, man.
Let it flow.
Let it flow. Let it flow. It's a good place for you. What? Was Scott Pioli, does he do yoga at NFL Network now?
I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, he has a very relaxed aura.
Yeah, clearly.
It's very relaxed aura.
I like Scott Pioli, but I don't know what any of that had to do on whether any of that had to do with anything on how Will Levis is going to work out in Tennessee. I don't understand that. Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Just breathe, man. Take it all in. Get with Vrabes. Vrabes will take you to the promised land.
Oh, gosh.
What just happened? Okay. Just breathe, Will. Just breathe.
Just breathe. That's the solution.
Okay, don't get all worked up over going in the second round. Just breathe, Will. Just breathe.
And there was a lot of breathing.
Okay. Is that what they do in New England? Is that how they won all those Super Bowls? Do they just breathe?
I don't know.
Just relax.
Just watching Bill Belichick, he doesn't seem like he's doing a lot of breathing. He seems rather stressed. If Scott Pioli does do yoga, I don't think Coach Belichick is going to the class.
You're saying the Patriots, it doesn't exactly feel like a Zen organization?
Not from what I've seen.
No?
With Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, do they seem like they were doing yoga together?
I could see Brady being Zen.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, not on the sidelines when he's chewing somebody's head off.
So not during the games. They weren't Zen at all.
No. But I could see during the week him being, just breathe. Everybody feel it. We're the Patriots. Just breathe.
Listen, Coach Belichick sounds like he's sleeping during the press conference at times.
Out.
He's low key.
In. Out.
What is happening?
Just breathe. Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Okay, there's the advice from Scott Pioli.
Breathing techniques are a big. I'm not poo-pooing that in sports.
Oh, not at all.
It is a real thing.
Oh, you better believe it. Listen, whether you play in sports or not, it's a real thing. Okay.
Yeah, my kid goes to pitching lessons. Like his pitching coach talks about breathing techniques.
Yep.
Breathe, man. Inhale, exhale, then get ready to pitch.
Yeah,
like it's a real thing.
Oh,
but
no.
It was just weird.
Just breathe. He says
Scott
he was wound
Pioli,
too tight.
He's
breathe, wound
man.
too tight. And, he just needs to take a deep breath and let it flow.
Like what? If I said, Justin, describe Mike Vrabel.
Intense.
What?
It's the first word that comes to mind. It is. I'm sorry. I don't know if it is.
Too tight.
He's intense. He's an intense guy.
What are we doing here?
Now, maybe if it's definition of wound too tight, I guess varies from one person to the other. But for him, he's a very intense guy.
Yeah. Just stick with Vrabes and everything's going to be okay?
I mean.
Really?
I mean,
when I think of Vrabel, I think of wound too tight and, like you said, intense.
Intense.
I don't think Zen.
Intensity.
I have not seen Zen Vrabel. Have you?
No. Not that I can think of. I've seen him happier than other times, but
yeah.
Not, even his happy is pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, his happy is like just saying, well, he just wasn't ready to chew somebody's head off.
Yeah. I'm really not sure what happy looks like for Coach Vrabel. And listen, I'm sure he has joy and happiness in his life. I'm just saying, the public persona of Mike Vrabel on the sideline, one word to describe it, and that would be intense.
Yeah.
Very, very intense guy that's out there.
So Scott Pioli's advice, just stick with Vrabes.
And breathe.
Everything's going to be just fine.
And even Coach Vrabel says, have some fun. And, Coach Vrabel did say in his, he told Levis to just have some fun and, everything will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Learn and have some fun. That's what he said.
Okay.
So, if you want to keep going that route, there's more. There's
more.
There's other analysts.
There's other ways for Levis to make it?
Apparently,
besides Vrabes and breathing?
There's other opinions out here about what kind of a fit he may be. Adam, if we can, let's go on to Mike Florio, which is a couple down there. Here's Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk.
He'll have a different take.
Speaking on Pro Football Talk, a longtime analyst talking about Will Levis and the fit in Tennessee.
It doesn't surprise me they went quarterback. Ryan Tannehill entering the last year of his contract. He's been around for a while. Injuries pop up from time to time, and he's not going to get fewer injuries as he gets older. It just felt like they're in that Alex Smith phase where we have a guy who's taken us as far as he can. Kirk Cousins as well. He's taken us as far as he can. We know what we are with him. If we ever want to be anything more than that, we got to reach a little bit higher, and that's what they're doing with Will Levis. And Rand Carthon kind of tiptoed around it. The idea that if Peter Skoronski doesn't fall to them at 11, that he's the pick. I think their preference one, get C.J. Stroud at 3, and I think they would have traded up to 3 to get C.J. Stroud if he'd been there.
All right, so there is Mike Florio talking really not about Levis as much as he is about the Titans and where they are and why they decided to do this, why they decided to take Will Levis where they did and why they decided that now was a good time. Because that is the question I had, is why now? They really did not have to do this unless they were just sold on Will Levis. But there was no reason to draft a quarterback, in my opinion. There was no reason to draft a quarterback this year. For what? Why? Unless you were just really in love with one of these guys. And it would seem they were really in love with Will Levis.
Were they, though?
They were in love with C.J. Stroud.
They could have had him at 11.
It sounds like they had Swarovski rated higher.
But you said they were in love with him. If you're in love, you don't pass. If you're in love, you go after it.
Apparently, they weren't as in love with him as they were in love with Peter Swarovski.
That's what I'm saying. They weren't in love with Will Levis. If they were in love with him, they would have drafted him at 11. Because if you are in love with someone, you're going to take them. You're not going to pass and hope for the best later on.
Well, apparently they thought enough of him that the rumors were that they were one of the teams trying to trade back up into the late first round to get him.
They were.
So, and then they traded way up in the second round in order to get him.
They were trying to get to 31.
So to me, that's a semblance of love. What is that then? Just intense like? They had a crush? I mean, what are we talking about?
Well, I don't think I think love is a little strong. I think, they liked, so they definitely wanted to date. But I don't think they were in love. They didn't say love at first sight. Love at first sight means I'm going to marry her.
Okay.
Right?
I'm going to take her
I'm going
right
to marry
here.
her or I'm going to marry him.
Okay.
It wasn't love at first sight.
Okay.
Because people, right, you always hear that. When I laid my eyes on her, I just knew we were going to be together forever. Well, that's the girl I'm going to marry, right? You've heard guys say that.
Yes.
Well, they didn't say that about Levis because if they felt that way, they would have drafted him at 11.
Okay.
You right?
I understand.
You don't pass.
I understand.
They were trying to get back up.
Yeah.
Late in the first round to draft him. They were.
Be that as it may, they still gave up draft capital to get him. And like I said, the way I framed it yesterday, to get Will Levis, they actually gave up two players. The way I think about it, they gave up the person they could have drafted if they didn't draft Will Levis, and they also gave up the third-round pick from next year, which is a person they won't get because they wanted to get Will Levis. So that's the way I frame it in my head. And in order to do that, you must have thought pretty highly of this person in order to bring him in. And that's why you're doing it now versus next year. Because maybe you just didn't like what you saw in the future of the draft next year, or again, you thought so highly of this individual that you wanted him right now, even though you've already got a quarterback under contract for $30 million plus who's 35 right now. And you already have a third-round pick quarterback on your roster right now with a high ceiling, some say. But unless you don't like any of that, you just decided you just had to have, despite the receiver room and every other area that needs attention, we had to have this quarterback right now.
We'll come back, and I'm going to tell you what this draft felt like to me. I'm just going to give you it's a quick thought, but I'll see if you agree or disagree. We'll also take your phone. We're wide open this first hour.
Sure.
We didn't get to do this yesterday. We did it for 30 minutes because of the Braves doubleheader. We're going to do it today. We're wide open. We can talk with you as well. 615-844-5600. That's our phone line and our text line if you want to join the show. But we are wide open this first hour, and we would love to hear from you. What did you think? We can also get you to weigh in on Will Levis. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think? You have an opinion. Don't tell me you don't have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion on Will Levis. Either you like or you don't. You don't go, really don't. Yeah, I haven't really thought about it. No, that's not the case.
No.
So we'll come back. More of the McFarland Show next.
There's a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience filled with family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 21st through the 24th for the induction of Fred McGriff and Scott Rowland as the class of 2023. Visit baseballhall.org today for the entire schedule. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
May is Indoor Air Quality Awareness Month, and now is the perfect time to make sure your home is a clean air home. Radon Mitigation is Nashville's licensed and NRPP certified radon mitigation company, serving the entire volunteer state. Radon is odorless and colorless, so testing every 2 years is the safest path for homeowners. And with Davidson County homes testing higher than the national average, now is the time for radon testing. Let Alex and his team at Radon Mitigation make your home a clean air home. May is Indoor Air Quality Awareness Month, and Radon Mitigation is the only name to know. Give them a call today at 931-47-RADON. That's 931-477-2366. Or online at chooseradont.com. That's chooseradont.com.
Hey, I'm Alex with Radon Mitigation, proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves on WNSR.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener. Here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Tennessee needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m., live here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. It's the McFarland Show.
It's 50 years of Nashville sports radio coverage. We are your feel-good, very smart, original opinion on the Nashville sports scene and beyond.
And we welcome your phone calls. And we mean it.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
You're listening live from the Strike and Spare Studios, downtown Music City. It's the McFarland Show.
Thank you, Big Boy Sky. It is. Your reaction, 615-844-5600. Before we get to the phone lines, we got loaded lines. I'm just going to tell you what my thoughts were. Quick thoughts.
Okay.
This draft, as we broke down yesterday, the 6 picks that were all on offense, this felt like, to me, it felt like a Mike Vrabel draft. It felt like Mike Vrabel had a lot of pull in this draft. It felt like Mike Vrabel had his hands all over this draft. Now, Rand Carthon is the new general manager. I get it. Albeit, Amy Adams-Strunk is in the room as well. There are people that can supersede Mike Vrabel, right? When he's going wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Boy, I sure would love to have that dude.
Well,
now, he can get overturned. He doesn't ultimately have the final decision.
Are we sure?
Well,
because remember,
no, I'm not sure.
Remember, listen, we've been.
By the way, you know what? When you said that, you know what I had? I had my cousin Vinny in my head on the stand. Are you sure?
Are you sure? Listen.
No.
We've been asked.
The defense is wrong. Are you sure?
Positive. Okay.
Sorry.
No, I got
Didn't mean to break out my. And by the way, you played along. Thank you.
Thank you. The thing about it is we've asked Terry McCormick, We have asked the other beat writers. I think John Glennon has been on. We've asked everybody who we know who has been over in that room when it comes to the relationship between the general manager and the head coach and asking them who's in charge. It was a question that we asked point blank, and we never got a real answer. All we got was it's going to be a collaborative process.
A lot of collaboration.
So, who actually made the final decisions on these picks? Can be left up to a lot of interpretation, I think. Because you say that Mike Vrabel can be overruled, and my question is, by whom?
Amy Adams-Strunk can.
She can.
I don't think she would.
I don't think she's going to get involved like this.
That. Yeah, she's not Jim Irsay. She's not Jerry Jones.
She's not her father. You know, her father.
That's a good point.
Not her father,
that's a good point.
Who ordered quite a few people drafted.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So
I don't believe she would do that at all. But
I don't think she's getting involved in 3rd and 5th round picks either.
So you haven't said anything, but I get the vibe and the feel. You agree with me. This kind of feels like
I have heard
it was a Mike Vrabel draft.
I have heard that sentiment.
You have
out there among the fan base and friends who've been talking to me. I have heard this before. I can see the validity to that. I can also see where there's a scenario where Rand Carthen may have agreed with a lot of this.
Sure.
And just said, you know what, Mike? I saw the same thing.
Sure.
You know, and how do we know there isn't somebody that Coach Vrabel really wanted that he didn't get because, you know, this thing gets real complicated real quick, and it can. And we've seen this movie before. You know, Jeff Fisher and Floyd Reese and towards the, you know, Lindell White versus Devin Hester. Okay.
Yep. That's how it starts, by the way. Or how it ends, actually.
Yeah.
How it ends.
Yeah. In their case. But
Right.
But that's a completely different situation and relationship.
Yeah.
But, you know.
All right. We've got loaded lines. 615-844-5600. Let's find out what you want to talk about. Let's start things off with Billy. Billy, what's up?
Yes, I'm a Colts fan, diehard Colts fan, and I was praying to God that we didn't get Will Levis.
Okay. Why? So you're happy with Anthony Richardson?
Oh, we love Anthony Richardson. He got his ceiling is way high.
Okay. But you'd have to admit, just like Will Levis, Anthony Richardson is a gamble. He is. Because you are just
I'd rather
you're
take
going
a
on
gamble
upside.
Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
That's fair. I mean,
yeah.
And before I would have picked Will Levis, if I was the new GM of the Titans, I would have got that quarterback from UT with the damaged knee.
Hendon Hooker.
Okay.
Henry Hooker, and never gave up my draft pick for Will Levis.
All right.
Or I would have went and got the quarterback from Georgia.
Stetson Bennett?
He's better than Will Levis. He won two national championships.
Well,
no, okay.
Will Levis didn't have his
Levis
defense.
Don't do nothing but throw interceptions. And you know, all the excuses that he didn't have a team, he didn't have a line. Mel Kiper was just making all that up.
Making it up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Billy.
Thank you, Billy.
Don't
we
be a
appreciate
stranger,
it.
man. Thank you.
And good luck to the ponies up there in Indy.
You don't even mean it.
We'll get a Super Bowl in 3 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
Man.
It's on record. Billy said it.
Okay.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Billy.
Y'all have a nice day.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening.
By the way, Richardson will be 22 in 3 years.
22, maybe 23 at that point.
Yeah,
Not
maybe.
Sure. Look, there's a lot to digest right there. I don't believe you can say emphatically, because we talked about this so much, right? So this is easy to respond to Billy's comments. This is a crapshoot quarterback. Okay, this was a crapshoot quarterback. He is rolling the dice.
Yeah.
The reality is, of those 5, and now this is what my analogy, and you didn't really push back. The best case scenario is 2 of them work out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah.
That's the best case scenario of the 5. Bryce Young, okay, 3 of the first 4 picks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's including Richardson.
Mhm.
And then throw in Levis and Hooker. Best case scenario, 2 of them work out in the National Football League.
Unless it's the 1983 draft.
Unless it's right. But I don't, there's.
But
there's
we've never
just-
seen a draft like that before or since.
It just doesn't have that look, feel, smell, nothing. Probably the reality is 1 of them works out. That's the reality.
Yeah.
1 a 5. Now, obviously, Billy feels like it's Richardson. I don't have a
he's
clue
a Colts
who it
fan,
is.
so you know.
Right. I don't have a clue who it's going to be. But look, you can't be that sold on Anthony. Look, Anthony Richardson is a total crapshoot. It is. You got 1 year that you've watched him on film, and you are just rooting for upside, and he's 20 years old. Yeah, he's got all the measurables, but, man, he ain't perfect. He's got warts, too. We'll see. Obviously, them being in the AFC South, we're rooting for Billy to be wrong. Let's go to Eric. Eric, you're up next. Welcome in.
Hey, guys. Before I get to the draft, Justin, I want to ask you a question. Have you received a package from Kenny the Mailman?
I have, sir.
Yes. He called me yesterday and wanted me to ask you that yesterday. Of course, you guys were preempted by the Braves. So
yes.
He may or may not be listening today. I know it's his day off, but, yeah, he was wondering about that. I'm sure you probably appreciate the
I absolutely appreciate it. I haven't taken the time to give him a shout-out quite yet because I was waiting for him to call, quite honestly, because that's Kenny's pattern. So that's why I hadn't said anything about it.
Eric, let me just say this because I was the witness.
Yeah.
Justin really appreciates that package from Kenny the Mailman.
I did.
Because of what was inside of it. And Kenny gave him a great workout to get to the inside of that because it was a workout to get that sucker open.
Get that sucker open.
Yeah. Well, he may or may not call in today, but I'm just giving him a shout out. I talked to him the other day, and he told me if I called in to ask you about it. So,
Absolutely.
Okay. As far as the draft goes, guys, I tell you what, a couple things surprised me. Well, you probably heard that I think Football Focus gave the draft an A. The thing I was real surprised about the fact that the Titans did not select a single defensive player. I thought we would pick one. That kind of surprised me that it was all offense. But here's the other thing. You know, I did not expect us to pick Will Levis. I thought we were trading up. I thought it was either going to be Hendon Hooker or that we were going to go for a wide receiver or tight end. But from what I've heard from Titans fans, a lot of them are going through those, I guess, 4 stages of grief. There's first there was shock. Then there was anger. Then there was I guess
denial and acceptance.
And then acceptance. Yeah.
Are they at acceptance, though? It doesn't
no, we're
feel
not
like
there
it.
yet.
I don't know.
It doesn't feel like
I mean, I was shocked and surprised, but I wasn't at anger or disbelief or anything like that. I accepted it. I mean, it is what it is. And, you know, I've heard some people on social media so mad they're talking about getting rid of the Titans season tickets. I saw one video where I actually showed the Titans fan burning an Eddie George jersey, which I think
what did Eddie George do?
Why are we burning Eddie George
do?
Yeah. It's I guess it's just showing how they feel about the pick and everything like that, you know. But which I think is insane. And I've heard also people comparing them to Jake Locker. So, but we'll see.
I've heard a lot of that too.
Eric, you know what? You know what those fans need to do? They need to breathe.
Need to breathe.
Yeah, take a chill pill.
Breathe.
Scott Pioli and breathe.
Listen, I mean, I'm going to support the team because that's what you got to do. I mean, was I surprised not having that pick? Of course, but I wasn't going to just get all mad. Just like, I mean, they made the pick, so you have to accept. You're a true Titans fan. Just hope it works out. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. We'll see. Guys, y'all take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Eric. Look,
Thank you.
I said yesterday, again, abbreviated show. We were sandwiched in between a Braves doubleheader. And if I'm just being honest, like I don't have any, I've got no reason to come on here and bash the draft, okay? None. But if I'm just being honest, which this show is going to do, be honest, whether you like it or you don't. Sorry. I didn't love it. I didn't. I came away from the Titans draft going, I don't love this draft. Now, does that mean that it's going to play out that way? No. Who knows?
Who knows?
Will Levis may be that one that we talked about. He may be the 1 of 5.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is or isn't. He may be a total bust, too. Don't know.
No.
Skoronsky, who we had his offensive line coach on Friday from Northwestern, Skoronsky may end up being the best left guard in Titans franchise history. I don't know.
That would be
maybe.
That would be fantastic.
And I'm assuming he's going to play guard.
Yes, I would assume
that's
so
just
as well.
assuming.
Yes.
But that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. That he's going to be their starting left guard.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree or disagree.
No,
with
I
that.
agree. That's what it sounds like.
I'm just saying, we went over all the checklists yesterday to not draft anybody on defense, to see that wide receiver room. And, yeah, I like the local product, 7th round. I like that story. That's cool.
Sure.
But to look in that wide receiver room and go, Wow, that's what you're trotting out next year?
I don't understand that.
I don't know.
I don't.
How could you be on board?
To me, the wide receiver neglect is something that I just can't.
It's real.
I'm having a hard time understanding that. I understand what they said. I understand about picks and priority on the list, and I got it. I got it. But I mean, so what are y'all doing? So what are the? Okay, the draft is over now. So what y'all doing at wide receiver? This is what we're doing? I don't know. I'm just and actually I'm really anxious to hear from Doug, who's on hold. I want to hear
Who's the defense game planning for, Justin?
I don't know.
Take Derrick Henry out of this mix. Who are they game planning for? Who? The defense gets in there all week. Who are they game planning for? Hey, we got to watch out for. Well, I mean,
clearly they think that somebody of note is going to come available here during the training camp cuts. That happen every year.
Sure.
It happens every year. You end up with one of these high-profile players that end up out there that nobody thought would be available for whatever the reason. And maybe that's their plan.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's go to Doug. Doug, what's up?
Well, first of all, it shocks me that Justin said, I can't wait to see what Doug said.
I want to hear from you, Doug, man. I want to hear.
And then all of a sudden I said, I feel like I'm about to wet on myself because
No, it's fine. It's fine, Doug. Everything's fine.
Because I preface everything with, I'm not a very wise person.
Yeah, I don't know why you say that, but okay.
Well, because I have to listen to you guys, so that shows you that I'm not smart. I have to listen to smart people. I have to listen because otherwise I don't have anything to bring to the table. But just some notable names, and I texted earlier today, notable seventh-round draft picks. And I'm just not picking on the seventh. I'm just saying that you had Donald Driver, Jay Ratliff, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the GOAT, Brady.
Brady
Purdy.
was sixth.
Excuse me?
Brady was
Julian
sixth. He was the seventh.
Okay, Shannon Sharp, Richard Dent, Mark Mariani, and I'm not sure if I can remember correctly. I think Cortland Finnegan.
Yes.
Where he was.
There's a hit or miss right there sometimes. So
was Shannon Sharp really seventh round?
I think he was the sixth. He may have been.
I'm gonna look
seventh,
that
though.
up. Really?
Well, but again, deep
later.
enough to where you say, wow. So I just put that out there because there's some hits, and you guys said it earlier. This looks like a Coach Vrabel pick, so apparently he knows something we don't know. So again, the word you guys used was breathe. And I think I have to tell you guys, look in the mirror, just breathe, hold on, because there's also this other thing I heard Coach Vrabel say, which he said there's other things out there we're going to, have competition and look elsewhere. And you remember a couple of weeks ago I asked you guys about the XFL. Is that not possible that you can feed your program? Is that a feeder program? I mean, those guys are already considered pros. Is that another way to satisfy your wide receiver room, albeit the XFL? Is that another way? Because again, this boat had enough leaks in it to where there's not enough putty to fill everything. It's obviously had to fill the offensive line. Once you get to the end of your putty now, and you got 3 holes to fill, and you just got 1 scoop of putty. So what do you do? This boat was leaking everywhere, man.
I got you.
So I hope I didn't let you down, Justin. But
no,
again, I'm going to keep listening because to me there were so many leaks. Unless Cinderella comes out with a wand, there's no way to fix this thing that fast.
Shannon Sharp was a 7th round pick, so
he was.
kudos.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah. So just throwing it out there. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss. 4-4 is what it is. But for the total draft as a group, there was just too many holes to fill. Now, the Will Levis, don't have any dog in that hunt. Wish them well, hope it turns out. But there were so many holes to fill, so they had to do something on the O-line. And as far as the total draft, if everybody's saying B+, I saw the worst of C+ one time, and then there's a mock draft of 2024 that says that they'll be picking the second round. Who already has his mock draft out there? That's crazy. So I said, I guess we're going to suck that bad, but let's just breathe.
Okay.
Per the M&M show, let's just breathe and see if the XFL can fill a hole or two for cheap. There's obviously the money problem as well. There's a lot of things out there that you can't satisfy because, Cadillac worth $10,000. It ain't no good if you ain't got the $5 to buy it. You can't buy it. It's money problem.
I understand.
That's again, this coming from a borderline GED guy.
Let's
Thanks,
breathe.
Doug.
Let's breathe.
Thanks, Doug.
And by the way,
Thanks,
Doug,
Dr.
we do
Breathe.
not want to look at a 2024 mock draft
Oh,
in May of 2023.
Already?
No, it's too early.
We don't know
when they
anything.
say too soon, yes, the answer is yes.
We don't know
Too
anything
soon.
about any of that.
Too soon. And there, you know what? He's probably right. There is one.
I'm sure there
I'm
is.
just not going to go look and find
I'm
it.
sure there is.
I'm not going to go find it.
But just so many things can happen between now and
There's nothing that can. We can get into the sports talk desert, which we will get to this
Mhm.
summer, and we are not doing a mock 2024 draft.
Okay.
We're not.
Well, good to know.
We'll do movie clips.
I'll scratch that off the
before we
list.
do 2024 mock draft.
I'll scratch it off
this
the list.
summer.
Scratch it off.
All right, we'll come back. More phone calls. Thank you, Doug, as always. Tony, we'll get to you on the other side. More of the McFarland Show next.
Hey, Nashville, start your day the right way with Bongo Java Cafe, located in the lobby of the Omni Nashville Hotel. Bongo Java is Nashville's oldest local coffee company. Get your day started with a freshly baked muffin and wash it down with a hot cup of dark roast or hair of the dog blend. With free Wi-Fi, you can get some work done while enjoying a toasted breakfast sandwich. Beat the traffic. Treat yourself at Bongo Java Cafe, located in the lobby of the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown Music City.
There are a lot of fun days in May. There's Cinco de Mayo. There's May the 4th be with you. There's No Socks Day. What? May all your days be winners this month with the all-new Instant Games. They feature top prizes up to $200,000 and are waiting for you at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
The Tennessee Lottery congratulates this year's graduates from all the colleges and universities across the state. Your achievements set the stage for a brighter tomorrow. We're happy to have helped along the way by raising more than $6.8 billion for education and funding over $1.9 million scholarships and grants, including Hope Scholarships, Tennessee Promise, and much more. Visit dionlottery.com to see how our proceeds support successful futures.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
5-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today's going to be sunny, high 66. Mainly clear tonight, low 44. Sunny Wednesday, high 68. Thursday, sunny skies, high 74. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi. Sports Radio WNSR.
The Jim Rome Show.
Man, I love Facebook. That's not in any way a time suck. And it's such a valuable use of your time going on everybody else's page and posting how beautiful they look when they don't. They don't. You know they don't. Come on. Anyway, do what you want with your time. I don't want you to tell me how to spend my time. I won't tell you how to spend your time, but I will tell you this. Stop cropping out pictures and including yourself and then acting like, hey, my hair looked great that day. My makeup was perfect that day. Just do what I tell you. With regards to this, you'll be fine.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on Nashville Sports Radio. The McFarland Show. Video streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from the Strike and Spare studio.
Mike texts into us. Levis feels like a consolation prize. The guy without an ACL, the running back from Tulane, feels like you bought a new car with a big dent in it. Well,
yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I understand. They
The
don't.
problem is you can fix the dent. Doesn't sound like you can fix him.
Listen, the Titans don't feel that way. I mean, at the end of this is about what these professional people who sit around and do football all day and all night and have for 20 years, 30 years, whatever, have a feeling about these players, apparently, and this is what we're doing. So if we can see there's problems at the receiver position, so can they. Why they decided not to address it, they've got their own reasons for it.
Yep.
You know, they decided they wanted to go with the third round pick out of Tulane for, in the third round. They wanted to go with the tight end out of Cincinnati in the fifth round instead of picking a wide receiver there. I don't know. I got nothing for it. I don't know. To me, the team needs receivers. They know that the team needs receivers. They decided they needed these guys more. Or they decided these guys were better rated players than the receivers on their board. And I guess this goes back to the fact they didn't have a lot of faith in these receivers that were in this draft. And I don't know why that reason is. I don't know. I don't know why Tajay Spears is higher on their list than whatever wide receiver was there. I don't know. That's something that they sat around and decided as a staff. And guess what? They're going to be responsible for it too. Come this fall, if it doesn't shake out and, they only have 106 yards passing, guess what? And they lose football games, the decisions are made already. Mm-hmm. The decisions were made this weekend that are going to have direct ramifications coming up in September and October.
Yep. Let's go to Tony. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys. And Justin, we're speaking of the same people that just a few years ago drafted Georgia lineman who couldn't even decide what he wanted to do.
But Tony, are we really though? Because I thought the person who made that decision is no longer here. So are these really the same people?
But the others are still there. But the other thing is Darren, you mentioned it a while ago, it's a Vrabel draft. You've got guys that, that they went out and got generally an OVC player, not always, but generally a skill player like that might be a free agent draft, free agent pickup after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got that situation. And, the other thing, guys, apparently y'all didn't know this, but it seemed to me the defensive staff, the whole staff, was on vacation last week. Do y'all think that
maybe they weren't in the room? Yeah, maybe they weren't in the room.
I think they were all on vacation.
Maybe.
And because somewhere along the way, you think you'd have somebody saying, we need help on our side, just one pick anyway. And so with that going down like that, and all of them being, and it's been touched on by being on the offensive side, let me ask you this. Darren, maybe you know this. Justin, maybe you. All this talk about this running back from Tulane, did he play last year with Tulane without that ACL?
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Yep.
Well, he was a hell of a running back.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna say so. The guy played a whole year, and there's already the talk out there. He might not even make it through training camp. Well, okay, we'll see. But and the pick on Levis, I had never been a big fan of his, but I think the guy is a competitor. I think he likes to get in there and mix it up. He played both at Penn State and Kentucky, so he's played in the Big Ten and the SEC. We've seen what he can do when he is on. We've seen what he can do when sometimes he tries to force some things. But I think with them moving up to get him, I think you're looking at your quarterback come 24, maybe 25. And I just think that's what's the situation. So I just think that's where they went with their draft picks. I still wish, and I think we all do, wish they at least gotten one guy on defense somewhere along the way. But any of them that they could pick, I know LaJuan's gone. He's back in the news now with his podcast and all that stuff and going to file a lawsuit, which wasn't no secret, but I wish he'd just go away. So I think the Titans they're looking at moving forward, and I think they're going to just try to build this offense, feeling the defense was secure enough, even though I think in the secondary they could have used a player or two. So that's just where I'm at with it. I didn't burn no jerseys. The individual and Eric, I did see someone burning the Eddie George jersey. If that's the only jersey they had, they might need to, invest in their wardrobe a little bit and get a little bit more current. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you alone. Good talking to you, and let's just see how all of it plays out.
Yep. Thank you, Tony.
We'll know in 3 years.
Yep, you're right.
See you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Tony.
Maybe they have newer jerseys. That's why they burned the Eddie George. They have newer jerseys. They
have changed the jersey since Eddie's played. That's true.
All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up the first hour of the McFarland Show, and we will do that next.
Legacy Concrete is on the air saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military. Their tireless efforts each and every day shall never go unnoticed. This message is brought to you by Legacy Concrete, covering up to a 50-mile radius of Middle Tennessee with quality service and pride. For residential or commercial concrete projects and foundation repair, call today and ask about their military and first responders discount. 615-661-8373. That's 615-661-8373. Legacy Concrete. They're professionals who care. Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Bundling car and renter's insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? Look for the signs. Chances are they live in a home and have a car. They use money and enjoy having more of it. They probably drink lots of lemonade. Lemonade. And they've probably said something suspicious like, "I'm bundling with Geico," or "Stop spying on me with those binoculars." If so, you may want to ask them how easy it was to bundle with Geico. Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
Hello, this is Philip Cox from Strike and Spare Family Entertainment. Are you looking for new and exciting things to do with the family during the spring and summer months? Thanks to Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, you don't have to look any further. Sign up today for Kids Bowl Free, a summer pass starting in May where kids 15 and under receive 2 free games of bowling every day. You can also purchase a family pass that allows you to join the fun as well. Visit any of the 5 local Strike and Spare locations in Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Donaldson, Hermitage, and Tusculum to register, or just visit kidsbowlfree.com/Strike and Spare. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
The 2023 Atlanta Braves are back, and with a loaded roster of young talent and some new faces in the A, it's going to be another wild season.
First pitch is drilled to center field, spreading in Harris, he dives, and Michael's got it.
Catch the 2023 Atlanta Braves right here on Music City's home for Braves baseball. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Nate from Columbia texts in and says, you guys know what could have prevented yesterday's Braves-Mets doubleheader?
What's that?
A roof.
That's a good point.
Nate is correct.
It's a good point.
It's 100% correct.
They don't have a roof on Citi Field there in New York.
They don't.
No.
They could use one. And they would have played on Sunday.
That's true.
And then they would just play a day game on Monday.
That's true.
You know?
And we all know they've got enough money up there to do it.
They do.
They could have easily put they
although
not to.
Their owner, their previous owner, did lose a lot.
He did, but
like billions.
It's New York, and if they wanted to get a roof up there on Citi Field,
they could have done it.
They could have done it at the time. You know, replacing Shea Stadium. If you were going to replace it, just go ahead and just go all out with it. You waited a long time to replace Shea Stadium. So
I went to Shea. They don't miss it.
Yeah, I bet they don't.
It was a dump.
Yeah,
it was old.
I've only seen it from the air. I've never been down in it, but just my shot of it from the air was enough.
But Nate, you are correct. So thank you for pointing that out. That is a really good point. So Tony brought up, what is the plan, right? So now they have 3 quarterbacks.
They do.
They've got Ryan Tannehill, who's going to be their starter. So the question is, when he said, Levis will be the starter in 24 or 25. Like, he's not going to sit for 2 years. I really do believe this is it. Tannehill is going to play this year. And I suspect, if we've seen it in the past, I suspect if he stays healthy, he'll have a really good year.
Yeah, probably.
Because you know what? He knows.
Yeah.
And he wants to continue playing.
Yeah.
And so to continue playing, he needs to ball out this year.
Yeah.
So someone goes out there and says, we'll bring you in as our starter. We're not scared.
Yeah.
We'll give you $25 million.
Yeah. He'll be
because that's a low budget.
He'll be a stopgap for somebody. Yeah. Next year.
$25 million a year.
Yeah.
Stopgap.
Till they get who they want.
Right.
I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick made $80 million. I looked it up one day.
Oh, it's more than that.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot.
Ryan Fitzpatrick made a ton of money being a stopgap quarterback around the NFL for a decade and a half.
He's set for life.
Yeah.
Being a stopgap.
A stopgap quarterback.
Yep.
Just spot starts in here just to get the season started. We're not here to be serious. We're here just enough to be relevant. We're here.
I don't think it's a horrible plan to have Levis sit for a year. But he's going to be the 24 quarterback.
The question becomes, Darren, what happens if Ryan Tannehill gets hurt in week 2?
Right. That is right.
Now what are you doing?
That's the question.
Is Levis your quarterback now? Or, because I don't the other question is, how many guys are actually going to make it to September? Are they going to keep 3 quarterbacks in this roster?
Right. Are they keeping Willis?
They have never done that before. Under Mike Vrabel, they've never done that before. You have to go back to almost Fisher before we, found that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either. It'll be a hot topic for sure. That'll do it for hour number 1. We'll come back. Vince Ferrara in Knoxville will join us next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Rena Roy. Writers behind some of your favorite shows and series are on strike nationwide. From New York City to Los Angeles, 11,000 Writers Guild members working on Hollywood TV and studio productions walked off the job after union negotiations failed with media companies. They're demanding better pay over residuals from streaming platforms. Peter Ackerman was out on the picket lines in Manhattan.
Our wages have deflated and we can't make a living wage anymore. Sometimes we're employed for 12 weeks out of the year when shows used to be 10 months out of the year.
It's the first time WGA film and TV screenwriters have gone on strike in nearly 16 years. The Justice Department announced 300 arrests worldwide and millions of drugs seized in what it calls the largest international drug trafficker operation targeting opioids and fentanyl on the dark web. The Senate Judiciary Committee held a hearing today, focusing on whether ethics guidelines are needed for Supreme Court justices. This is ABC News.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Say, for the ones who get it done, Grainger is offering high-quality supplies and solutions for every single industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and the experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facility safe and your people even safer. So, call, click, Grainger.com, or just stop on by. Grainger.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour on this Tuesday afternoon. Darren and Justin here with you. You can watch us Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Let's head east, where they're an hour ahead. It's 4:03 p.m. in Knoxville. 99.1 The Sports Animal. He's Vince Ferrara. He now joins us. He did not get drafted, but he's worthy of getting drafted. Vinny, what's up?
Yeah, still waiting on that undrafted free agent deal, but I guess I have to get my agent to get on that.
Yeah, I don't know what your agent's doing, man. People are signing every day. I mean, spots are getting gobbled up while your agent's sitting around twiddling his thumbs.
Just trying to find the right fit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scheme purposes,
Fit is important.
Gotcha. What did you make of Darnell Wright going the pick before the Titans when they took Peter Skoronski, but Darnell Wright went to the Bears at 10?
Yeah, I saw late a couple of people mock that. Charles Davis might have even done it. Now, the Bears at their normal spot, not necessarily where they picked after they moved, but I saw that team fit and match. And I wasn't surprised that it was at the Bears, but because they have such a need, but I didn't think it would be still in the top 10. I thought, maybe someone would, the Bears might slide down or something like that, even farther than they did. And it would happen that way. But look, he made a great impression in the draft process, and it's a massive need for them. You can slot him in right at starting right tackle from the jump, and they need to upgrade their offensive line. They're inexperience at the tackle spots. They have a 5th round pick, probably slated as their left tackle, and they have a former Titan in Nate Davis is there, as you guys know. So they're trying to rebuild that line, and they need to find out what they have in Justin Fields, and they need to keep him upright. So He's a big, physical, nasty guy. I think Chicago will like him. And, it'll be an adjustment for him in talking to the media because we really didn't get a chance to do that at Tennessee other than maybe a interview or two early in his career. And he won't really have the opt-outs to do that in Chicago. So we'll see certainly how he handles that.
We kept calling him the Big Five on the show because that's what it felt like. It was like only 5 quarterbacks were coming out of this year's draft. We know that wasn't the case. A lot more were drafted, but only people were talking about the Big Five, and they could all go in the first round. Well, it didn't play out that way. 3 in the first 4 picks. Then the Titans trade up in the second round, and they get Will Levis. And then it was a pretty steep drop, pretty steep gap between Levis and then Hendon Hooker at 68, pick 68. Were you surprised at the gap between 4 and 5?
I guess I was surprised at where the gap happened. I thought somebody would be foolish enough to take Levis in the top 10 and then Hooker somewhere in the 20s to 31 in the first round. I thought someone would make a move back in, or someone at the bottom will move down to be able to select them. So I thought there would be a gap between the two, even though, in my opinion, there should not be a gap between the two, not in that direction. But, yeah, for Levis to drop to the second round, I don't think anybody expected that based on all the projections and what analysts were saying about him and how teams, fell in love with him and honestly have been in love with him for quite a while, dating back to, as we've talked about, him throwing at Kentucky's pro day last year, which I think, even though people already were on his tail, so to speak, getting a chance and extra time to see him in person, bonus, and really flash, I think was a huge impression, and they've been kind of gaga for him ever since. Or maybe they weren't, and maybe they late in the process they realized that, hey, we need to go some different directions, and the Titans did it. The Titans have pointed to, Rand Carthon has pointed to the pro style of Will Levis versus anybody else, even if he wasn't specifically saying Hendon Hooker. But what did you do in that pro style? So I didn't think Hooker would slide that far back, thus creating that bigger gap between the two. It wasn't just Hooker that I was surprised it fell to the third round. Those other guys too, especially Hyatt and a little bit Tillman and Byron Young also.
Yeah, I mean they all went boom, 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 boom. I mean, it was quick, right? Hooker, Hyatt, Tillman, and Young were separated by what? 9 picks?
10 picks.
10 picks?
Yeah, all 4 of them went within 10 picks in the third round, which is just wild. And then to have a VFL and Charles Davis on the NFL Network broadcast as they were firing, one ball after another, when poor guy oftentimes is up there and Daniel Jeremiah is busting his chops because guys taken and Tennessee had not, and in several of those drafts during the lean years. So it was much different, and it was in the third round too. I mean, those are guys, starters in the league, and you can really hit on if you draft the right guy. So just wild how it all happened in one stretch.
I want to ask you if you guys touched on this in your market, of course, on your morning show yesterday or today or both days. And was this brought up? Did the callers bring it up, or has Josh Heupel been asked this? Just curious. I don't know how you guys view it, but it does seem like Hooker and Hyatt and Tillman and Young all went a little bit later. Now, let's leave Young out of this because he plays on the other side of the ball. We know really where I'm going with this. I'm talking about the system and the offense under Heupel, right? Did they go later because is that the NFL saying we didn't, that system, that's not what way it's going to play out in the NFL, and so Therefore, that's a knock against him. I don't know. I just wondering if you guys have touched that angle at all. Was that ever brought up? That the system came into play?
Yeah, I think that's fair to wonder. It has been a discussion. Honestly, it's something that we have looked at and talked about, even if callers haven't called. I mean, and when we hear from fans, obviously they're defending their Tennessee players and they think, hey, it's about productivity. You guys can pick all these guys from other systems, but it's who's doing what on Saturdays. And all of those guys have been very productive. I think, though, overall, it's a topic to be answered, so it's extra work, I think, for the NFL. And what it does is it's not that no people can't get past it in the transition in the offense from what Tennessee does in the college game to the NFL. It's that there are enough questions about it that they have to do a deeper dive. For example, I think the biggest one that this applies to is Hendon Hooker. Their GM, Brad Holmes, he said, it is different. The way they run their routes, their receivers, their wide splits, their wide receivers run option routes as opposed to having a more complex route tree and specific types of routes that they run, the tempo, just the types of routes that they run. That's not what everybody does. So for some teams, it's you have to dig in and spend time. The Lions specifically wanted to know what his responsibilities were, why they were doing certain things. Could he explain the whys and how they would want to have a quarterback process? And then they felt fine with the answers, but they still had to do the deeper dive. Other teams may not have even gone through that extensive a deep dive or felt like even with all the explanation, they still had that little bit of uncertainty and maybe went a different direction. Even if they still liked him, they maybe slid him farther down the board. I think he was the other one. He was the one that might have been impacted by it the most. I think with Hyatt, it was maybe his slender build, 1, 2. He didn't have a ton off the ball where he's getting off of press coverage and can show maybe more of the extended route tree or the tight window types of catches. He's not really a wiggle guy after the catch. He's more of a straight line guy. So he had some other things to kind of answer to that they weren't. Some NFL teams maybe wanted to get answers to, but some of those things you can apply to the system because the big thing with Hyatt is he used them on mismatches, right? They get them on linebackers, you run them free. Why are you just going to stick them there stationary for Florida's corner or Georgia's corner to get up in his grill to press him when you can get him in space and get him running past defenses? So, again, some of that applies. Tillman, not so much because Tillman was an outside receiver. They would have him in press coverage. They'd use him in the middle of the field in tight window throws. So they got a chance to see him closer to what the NFL does. So it's not exclusive to anyone in this offense. It's player by player and team by team. And if enough teams have to do that extra work, it can limit at least the options of where you could potentially go because it's not an exact one-for-one transition. You have to project it and dig in a little bit.
Vince, I want to ask you in particular, what did this weekend do for Tennessee recruiting when it comes to football?
It's definitely a positive. It's the second year in a row they've had 5 players drafted. First time that's happened the most in a 2-year stretch since 06, 07. Justin, there's a long list of first time since. There's things that they have already been bragging about, how Tennessee had the most wide receivers in the first 3 rounds, having the duo. No other school had 2 wide receivers taken in the first 3 rounds. In the first 3 rounds, they had the second most picks out of anyone behind Alabama. They were up there in terms of SEC picks in the first 3 days. Yeah, they didn't have the big total number. I think those will come. I was a little surprised that some of those other guys didn't get snagged late in the rounds. But, 5 through the first 3 rounds, it's still a nice number, a different number than they've had, and one they've already started bragging about. It's not like they've turned around and gotten a bunch of commits from just that. I do think, though, they're planting the seed, and it will have a payoff down the road. And then the big thing for them is they're going to have to pay it off with those players having NFL success. Like, that's the next box to check.
Mm-hmm.
First, you got to get them there under Heupel, and then they have to be really good. So Velus Jones last year, and then those guys on offense specifically this year. Josh Heupel has hit guys he's coached to brag about. I think it's 6 over the last 4 years, including Gabe Davis to Buffalo from UCF. And he actually, the Giants GM, Joe Shane, actually credited Heupel for helping them with their evaluation of Gabe Davis when they drafted him with Buffalo. And he's turned out to be an outstanding receiver. So that is another plus to kind of help teams sort of visualize what Tennessee's receivers can be, but then also something else that they can promote in recruiting that is a good look for them. But more work to be done in that area for sure.
What about the undrafted free agents here that we've seen coming off the board for Tennessee? What are some notable players that maybe have signed on with some NFL teams that we haven't thought about yet?
Yeah, they've had 5. A Princeton Fant with the Cowboys. That's an interesting. That's an interesting fit, Justin, because they lost Dalton Schultz in free agency, and they had Ferguson from Jake Ferguson from Wisconsin there, who got some run. Peyton Hendershot from Indiana. Those 2 guys got some run. They'll be the top 2, and then they drafted Schoonmaker from Michigan. So you have 3 Big Ten tight ends there, but there's room, I think, for Princeton Fant, especially because he has special teams, he has ability, versatility in either H-back, fullback, and he can catch the ball. Also, he's athletic. And at least in a practice squad situation, I give him a real good chance to land because that's the extent of their tight ends there in Dallas. So, and Mike McCarthy really values the tight end. Now that he's calling the shots more without Kellen Moore there, I think that maybe helps him. Jerome Carvin went to KC, where he's kind of reunited with a couple of his former teammates, not just Trey Smith, who's in that room, but also Wanye Morris, former Tennessee O-line that went to Oklahoma, who they drafted as well. So that'll be interesting to see there. I thought Jerome Carvin was the next guy that would have been drafted. I'm sure teams liked him, but for whatever reason, there was draft hesitation or went a different direction. But I give him a decent shot to stick, at least maybe practice squad in KC, because I think he's great in the room and he'll give great effort. Jerome Carvin, Jimmy Banks with the Bucks. He's a wild card. It depends on how focused he is, if he stays, locked in and not in any sort of setback and trouble and off the field. I'm sure the off the field was was something that hurt him in terms of getting drafted because he's got ability. There's no doubt. It's what he does with it. And do they have the structure there to help him and keep him in line and make sure that he's got the right influence so his talent on the field can work for him? I don't know that. We'll see. And then Paxton Brooks getting an invite with the Colts, and then Latrell Bumpus rookie mini camp with the New York Giants where Jalen Hyatt is, which by the way, I love the Hyatt fit with the Giants. Love it. I think he's going to have an instant impact there. He's exactly what they need on that offense. They don't have a guy that can take the top off, run the vertical routes. And Brian Daboll even said we run some routes that they do at Tennessee, which kind of plays contrary to what we were talking about before, but they do some of that vertical stuff to try to clear out safeties, get people out of the box, and they finally have a guy that can do that. He is different in that way, just like Tillman is different than any of the other Browns receivers with his size. So that's why I really like all those fits for those Tennessee guys that were drafted.
You know, one thing I wanted to ask you very quick here, Vince, on the way out the door is about a former Tennessee Volunteer who did not finish his career at Tennessee, but ended up there with the Giants as well. And, of course, I'm talking about Eric Gray. And I always find it interesting when teams or when a player leaves the team to go elsewhere to probably give themselves a better position to be drafted. And then, you know, this weekend we get to see how all of that shakes out. I'm just interested in your opinion about that.
Well, I don't know how much Eric Gray was thinking about the NFL or improving his draft stock, but I don't think he did by going to Oklahoma. Had he been at Tennessee, and you would have, seen the opportunities that he would have had, because Tennessee still runs the ball, contrary to narrative. But I think he would have been Tennessee's best running back. And he probably would have put up darn good numbers, both as a runner and a pass catcher. And maybe he would have been drafted higher. Hard to tell, but I don't think he improved it by going to Oklahoma. And he had a better year the second year he was there than his first. And it's funny, the one-time balls, the Wanye Morrises, the Eric Grays, the Henry Toto to the Texans, like all those guys went in a not as tight a window as the Vols players drafted in the third round, but they weren't too far away. Like where you've seen some of those X-Vols coming off the board in the, kind of the same general area, which is kind of interesting also.
Betts, appreciate the visit as always. Have a great week, and we'll do it again next Monday.
Lost you there for a second. What'd you say, Dan? Sorry.
I said that's going to do it for us. Our time is up, sir. Have a great week.
Thanks, Vince.
See you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. I don't think he was hearing there at the end. What was going on? Maybe in a bad spot.
Maybe the operator came on, asked him to add another dime.
Add another coin. Vince Ferrara, 99.1, the sports animal. All right, we're wide open the rest of the show. Appreciate Vince's visit. We can talk with you. 615-844-5600 is our phone line and our text line. More of the McFarland Show on this Tuesday. Next.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? They may drop little hints like,
beautiful day out. Even more beautiful since we saved by bundling our home and car insurance with Geico.
Or,
yard work is hard. Much harder than bundling with Geico, which was easy.
Or it may be even subtler, like,
speaking of burgers, we bundled our home and car insurance with Geico and saved a bunch of money.
Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
In uncertain times, you can be certain of this. The Salvation Army is serving those most in need with help and hope. Thanks to your donations, the Salvation Army is helping those affected by COVID-19, those who've lost wages, who have no home to retreat to, who need food, help with utilities, and most of all, hope. To see how you can continue to make a difference, visit GiveWestwood.org. GiveWestwood.org.
You enjoy the thrill of gambling, but what happens when it becomes a problem? Whether you want to cut back or quit gambling altogether, the Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling for over 2 decades. We're here to help, not to judge. The Gambling Clinic is a Tennessee-based clinic offering in-person and telehealth support to help people win back their life. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Sports fans, listen to Youth Connect on Monday nights at 6 and hear me, Seagull Boys basketball coach Matt Rigsby and Darren McFarland.
Hey, listen to Youth Connect on Monday nights from 6 until 7 o'clock as we highlight high-level trainers, coaches, and players in and around Middle Tennessee. Give us a call at 615-844-5600. We live video stream all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
And hear me, Seagull Boys basketball coach Matt Rigsby.
And hear me, Darren McFarland, live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Six 615-844-5600 is how you get in touch with us. Vanderbilt will take on Georgia State tonight at the Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
A little midweek game, so that's tonight. Coverage beginning at 5:45 here on these airwaves. Let's go to Clay. Clay is up next. Welcome in.
Boys, how we doing today?
Great.
All right, Clay.
Hey, I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on the Titans draft and things like that. The main thing I was surprised by is that they did not draft a wide receiver higher. I think Burks is going to be a really good player, but he's got to be able to stay on the field. You know, he had the asthma issue, coming out of college and going into camp last year, and then he had, the injury during the season. I do think this kid is going to be really good in the future, but he's got to stay healthy. Weren't y'all surprised, though, that they didn't take a wide receiver higher?
Extremely.
Yep.
Let's keep it short. Extremely, Clay. I don't understand. I know they have their own rationales about rankings and all that, but I'm having a hard time figuring out where these wide receivers are going to come from.
I mean, right now, would your I guess your starters would be, if they're healthy, would be Burks and Westbrook probably. Would that be right?
Unless the guy from the Texans they just picked up, maybe the number 2 guy, but maybe the Kyle Phillips.
Hey, have you ever left a restaurant still hungry, wanting a little bit more? Like, it was good, but you just wanted a little bit more. Yeah, that's what their wide receivers are going to leave you doing. They're going to leave you. They're going to leave you feeling a little bit hungry.
And what are y'all's thoughts on the drafting of Will Levis? I mean, do you think, he's going to be a good enough pro to where, if Tannehill's the quarterback for one more year, is he the guy for the future? I mean, what are y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, he has to be. They don't have a choice. I mean, you trade up in the second round.
Yep.
And you give up assets to take him. I mean, you don't have it. You're committed. You're pot committed. I mean, he is their guy in 2024. I mean, and he may be the guy in 2023. We don't know.
I predict that Will Levis is going to get at least 20 games under center for the Titans before they make a final evaluation about whether. But he's going to get the opportunity. He's going to get the opportunity to play at least 20 games, I think, over the next few years. So get used to it. Get on board because he's the guy. They've made that decision this weekend. He's the guy.
So what's going to happen with Malik Willis?
He'll be traded he'll be on the practice squad.
Or released. Yeah.
I don't know how y'all feel, but I just, I know we haven't seen much from him, but I just don't think, he's, I don't know, call me crazy, but I just don't think he's going to adjust to the pro game very well.
Well,
just my opinion.
At this point, Clay, it really, it doesn't matter.
No, not for the Titans anyway.
Now that they've drafted Will Levis, he doesn't factor into any of this discussion
Not
anymore.
here he doesn't.
No.
You know,
So-
he'll have to go somewhere, and somebody else will give him a flyer.
Yeah,
somebody
get a chance.
He's a third-round pick. He's got a high. Somebody else will sign him to do something.
Everybody always gets another shot. Always.
But it won't be here.
No. It's irrelevant.
Hey, real quick, if I could switch to college baseball, you know, and I know I look at this through black and gold glasses, but I think this year more than any other, minus the debacle in Knoxville, I think Corbs has done a great job with this team because, you know, outside of Bradfield, who's obviously going to be a high draft pick, and, you know, he's not going to be in the minors very long. He's going to get called up to the majors probably really quickly. I mean, the guy's really, really good. But, you know, quite frankly, he's not having a great year at the plate, and Vandy doesn't really have, you know, where they've had an Austin Martin or a J.J. Boudet or, you know, just guys that can hit it out of the park at any time. I just don't think they have that this year. So minus, you know, what happened in Knoxville, I think Tim Corbin has done a fabulous job with this team, you know, to be sitting, you know, first in the SEC right now, don't y'all?
Yeah, I went to the game on Friday night. I mean, look, Kentucky has had a really good season, and they're just a small ball team. You watch them; they're just small ball. Man, they just collect hits. They bunt. There's nothing, you know, wow. There's no wow effect with Kentucky, but they're a really good team. There's a whole lot of really good teams in the SEC. I don't know how many of them are great. I'd probably put LSU. They kind of feel like they're great. I agree with your assessment on Vanderbilt, but, you know, I mean, to say Tim Corbin's done a great job, well, I mean, you know, we've seen that for 2 decades. I mean, what's different? What's different than, you know, last year as opposed to the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that? And, I mean, it's just what we come to expect here from Tim Corbin and Vanderbilt. So nobody should be surprised at what they're doing. They're still very talented. Yeah, maybe they don't have mashers left and right where they're hitting, you know, all of them have got 20 home runs. Like, yeah, no, that's going on, but they can still score runs. We've seen it all year. So they're an extremely talented team, and, you know, I suspect they'll be right in the thick of everything.
By the way, you know, I discussed with y'all my relationship on and off the radio with Poggi. You know, we kind of have a love-hate relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I've given him a little time off lately, so I just decided to call you guys today because I didn't call Poggi today. I gave him a day off.
Well, you feel special, Clay.
Well, thank you, Clay.
See you, boys.
All right. Glad we were considered today.
Hey, you know,
Appreciate
we'll take it where we can get it.
You know?
The Tennessee Titans, when they made their pick, Darren, there were people in the media, of course, they asked questions, lots of them, of the front office. And a lot of people are wondering about whether or not these were the right picks to make. And they were kind of scrutinizing some of the picks. And Rand Carthen, the new general manager of the Titans, decided he had something that he wanted to say to the media in particular about their relationship and about being negative about some of the players picked.
These kids are living their dreams, right? Having their name called, you know, realizing a dream and being drafted. And I don't want these, you know, interactions between us to always feel like we got to take a negative turn. And, you know, this should be a joyous moment for us to praise these kids. This is a moment, these kids are going to see this, you know, and this is a moment for them and their families to rejoice in, you know, because it's only going to happen once, you know. We joked, you know, earlier about, Jim and I joked earlier about me not being drafted, you know what I mean? And that's a moment, you know, in my career I can never get back. Coach was drafted in the 3rd round. That's a moment he'll always remember. So let's keep that in mind, you know, when we're talking about these kids and where they've come from and where, because a lot of these kids have overcome a lot, you know, to get to this point, you know. So let's keep that in mind in moments like this. There'll be other times to critique what they've done. These kids haven't even stepped on the NFL field yet, you know. So let's keep that in mind. This is a moment for them and their families to have something to be proud of and enjoy this moment.
So, Darren, apparently you felt some kind of way about this.
Well, I just, it feels like the, you know, Pioli thing. It's like, just breathe and, you know, like, what are we talking about? It's like, this just seems like a real introduction, Mr. Carthon, to what you signed up to. okay? This seems like someone that just doesn't quite grasp exactly how this works. Well, what does that mean? Oh, this is Phil. Oh, they all got stories. And I joked with Jim. Is he talking about Jim Wyatt?
I'm not sure.
We said I joked with Jim.
I'm not sure.
Is he talking about Jim Wyatt? I mean, well, Jim Wyatt's a team employee. Like, it's not the media's job to chronicle. Like, they're going to chronicle their journey. They're going to chronicle their life. It's not their job to cheerlead and be like, oh, this is great. Wow, you got drafted. And I get it. Man, Carthon, you played in the league and you were undrafted. And I get it. You got a different perspective than fans and the media. Okay? And I don't understand what that was. Like, what is he saying? Is he saying, hey, back off? Like, it's too early? Like, you can't. No, this is how it works, man. This is the NFL. Like, you got more eyeballs on you and more people talking about your product than anybody else. And it's not really that close.
I think he wanted the mood to be more celebratory.
Nah, that's not the media's job.
I'm just saying what he wanted.
Well, that's fine.
He
can do that.
Yeah.
He can have a big old party.
Yeah.
Like the Titans can have as many parties as they want. It's not the media's job to throw a party for them. That's not how it works.
Yeah, because you notice he said they're going to see this.
Okay. Welcome to the NFL.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I understand. No, this is what and this is just me listening to it. He kept saying, and I don't know how many times I forgot to count, he kept saying these kids. And when he kept saying these kids, and I understand a lot of them are these young men, they are very much kids. But it sounded college football-esque. These kids, I'm just so proud of these kids. It sounded like coach speech from college football, from every college football coach in America who says these kids.
And it's true. They are.
And it is true.
They're student athletes.
It
They're
is
kids.
100% true. This was graduation day in pro football.
Yeah, they're professionals now. They're adults. They're professionals.
So you're going to get scrutinized. This is the day when you, not the program, not the university, not the coach, you as an individual player are going to get scrutinized in the NFL. That is truly the separation between college and the pro. Because, and let's just be real, we do not hit the college kids as heavy as we do in the NFL. We just don't. Because we take them as amateurs.
And I think that's
as
okay.
Kids, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids.
They're not really anymore, but
I know what you're saying with the NIL stuff.
That's another topic for another day.
But traditionally, as media, we treat the college football player a lot more gently than we do the NFL players. As we don't scrutinize quarterbacks as much, we don't scrutinize the play. We just say, well, they need to get better on the offensive line. We don't call out offensive linemen like we do with the Titans. We call out Dennis Daly with the Titans. We don't call out the Vols left tackle when he misses a play that costs them the game. We don't.
Yeah.
Now, when they got to the NFL, now he wants to say, well, they're going to hear this. Well, yeah. They're going to hear a lot worse, too.
This is life, what you signed up for, man.
If they don't get out there and produce, they're going to hear it. And by the way, you're going to cut them, sir, if they don't produce. You, not us. You're going to bring them in and release them. It's part of the business.
Yeah, I was very confused at just the whole, like, hey, okay, let's back off. It's too soon. Bro, this is the NFL. Like, Rand, like you're an NFL GM now, man. This is the NFL. People already wait 3. What? You want us to wait 3 years? We didn't need to wait 3 years for Isaiah Wilson.
Listen, we also have to remember that Rand Carthon is in a position that he has never been in before, and maybe this time next year he would not make that comment. This year, this is what he decided to do. And you have to give him a learning curve as well.
This is part of the growing pains.
This is part.
Look, Mike Vrabel did the same stuff.
Oh, boy.
And I was critical of him. I was like, bro, you're a head coach in the NFL now, man. Like, you got to stop worrying about the media talking about signs on the wall.
Mike Vrabel said
in the
stuff
building.
Year one like he would never say now.
Exactly.
He would never say now.
100% true. 100% true. He was focusing in on stuff early on. I was like, is this what you're worried about? You're a head coach in the National Football League now, man. You got the head coach hat on. You're worried about this stuff? Man.
It's a growth thing.
This should be on like page 29 of things you should be worried about right now.
Yeah.
And you're right. That was year one. He would never bring up that stuff today.
No, we don't even hear about that anymore.
Yeah, right.
We don't hear about anything like that now.
Stuff he said early on, I would shake my head and be like, man, you got a learning curve, man. This is not what you should be focusing in on.
Yeah.
And you're right. So this is part of the growing process of now Rand Carthon is in a new position. He is now the guy.
Yeah.
He's the general manager. And he'll find this out. Like, I would be stunned if we ever heard that speech again.
And that was his second press conference in as many days. And then he had to come back the next day and do another press conference. And if you're him, you've never done that. You've never done that before.
Sure.
He's never, I'm not to say, now to me, he's handled the media incredibly well.
Yeah.
In all honesty, for somebody who's never talked to the media like this, he's done very well. He really has. But this is his second day in front of the media here under tough circumstances and, trying to explain exactly what you did when you know full well, you know what you did and you know why people are irritated by it. You know how he's not crazy. He understands how this looks, but he's standing by his conviction and he'll sink or swim with it. But he understands full well why people are asking him questions and he's just trying to protect his players, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man.
I got to go.
Yep. All right, we got to go. We got to take a break. Come back. More of your reactions. 615-844-5600 is how you get in touch with the show. More of the McFarland Show next.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code FOOTBALL at checkout. That's harrys.com, code FOOTBALL. Enjoy.
Music City will be rocking June 23rd through the 25th with a different sound, the sound of NASCAR.
Start your engine!
The Ally 400 is back at Nashville Superspeedway, and this year, it's a night race. NASCAR in Nashville. It's guitars and fast cars under the lights. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to get your tickets for the triple header weekend, including the Ally 400, Tennessee Lottery 250, and the Rackley Roofing 200 today.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the TSSAA and the Tennessee Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is the Greg Vogue and John Burton Show.
New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks.
We are the New York Knicks. Go New York, go.
Oh, you're not doing a rap part?
I don't know how to rap, but John, look at me. I mean, do I look like I'm in the studio with you? I mean, come on.
Greg Pogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Rolling along on this Tuesday afternoon, Justin had to slide out the door. Be back in here for a full show tomorrow on the program. College football. By the way, you can jump in the show. 615-844-5600 is our phone line and our text line. College football today announced their dates for the new 12-team college playoff format. Yeah. We got one more year. This upcoming year is it. And then in 2024, expanding to 12 teams. And they have already released the dates, which is pretty interesting. So the first round in 2024 will be on campus, which I like. I remember years ago talking about 12 teams. Long time ago, and saying I think the first round should have the high seeds host the games. And so it looks like that's what they're going to do. Friday, December 20th, this is in 2024, there'll be a game. Saturday, December 21st, 3 games, an early afternoon, a late afternoon, and an evening game. Now remember, these games are all on campus. Then you move to the quarterfinals. So that'll be, 11 days later, Tuesday, December 31st. Now you start getting sites. It'll be the Fiesta Bowl. Or is it the Verbo Fiesta Bowl? And that'll be in the evening. So that is New Year's Eve. Why they haven't figured out to stop playing these games on New Year's Eve, I'll never know. But I guess they're going to still try to cram a game in on New Year's Eve. A college football playoff game. Although last year, Tennessee Clemson was, no, that was not New Year's Eve. That was the night before New Year's Eve. So the quarterfinal game will be Tuesday, December 31st. So New Year's Eve, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Then the next night will be New Year's Day. So they're going to have an early afternoon. This is the quarterfinals. That's going to be the Peach Bowl. The Rose Bowl will be late afternoon. And then the Sugar Bowl will be that evening. So 3 games on New Year's Day night. Okay, so that'll be a big day for viewing. Then we get it whittled down to the semifinals. The semifinals will be Thursday, January 9th. That'll be the Orange Bowl. And then Friday night, January 10th, will be the Cotton Bowl. And then you get the national championship game, which will be 11 days. It looks like they're going on 11-day windows from the first game until the first game of the next round. So they're going 11 days apart for each round. The national championship game will be Monday night, January 20th. And the first championship game under this format, the 12-team format, will be down in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So that'll be actually Monday, January 20th, 2025. So Atlanta will host the first national championship game in college football under the 12-team format. So in 2025, same deal. It'll start on a Friday night, December 19th. These will be, first round will be on campus. They'll have 1 game on Friday night, 3 games on Saturday. Then the quarterfinals will then be, again, 1 game on New Year's Eve. That'll be the Cotton Bowl. So a little bit different. That'll be the Cotton Bowl in 2025. And then you get the 3 games on New Year's Day, which will actually be 2026. And that'll be the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl. Then we get to the semifinals, and it'll be Thursday, January 8th, and that'll be the Fiesta Bowl. Then Friday night will be the Peach Bowl. Then you got the national championship game on Monday, January 19th, and in 2026, so the second ever 12-team format of the college football playoffs, that will be down in Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium. Of course, that is where the Miami Dolphins play. So Atlanta will host the first one at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That'll be the first year of it. So it'll be the 2024 season. It'll actually be in 2025. Then the next year, it'll be down in Miami, the national championship game, and that'll be at Hard Rock Stadium. And that is where the Dolphins play. The point of all this is, one, to put that out there, and two, when the Titans get their stadium built, there's no reason why the Titans can't get in this rotation at all, whether it's a quarterfinals, a semifinal, or a national championship game. There's no reason why Nashville should not be in that rotation. And hopefully that will be the case. Of course, we know the first 2 years, the new stadium won't be built. So we know that. I'm saying when the new stadium opens, there's no reason why that this market can't be in that rotation somehow, some way. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll squeeze in a phone call and call it a day here on the McFarland Show, WNSR.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
There are a lot of fun days in May. There's Cinco de Mayo. There's May the 4th be with you. There's No Socks Day. What? May all your days be winners this month with the all-new Instant Games. They feature top prizes up to $200,000 and are waiting for you at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
The Tennessee Lottery congratulates this year's graduates from all the colleges and universities across the state. Your achievements set the stage for a brighter tomorrow. We're happy to have helped along the way by raising more than $6.8 billion for education and funding over $1.9 million scholarships and grants, including Hope Scholarships, Tennessee Promise, and much more. Visit DionLottery.com to see how our proceeds support successful futures.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's April, and you know what that means? Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
And now, Epoch Construction is reminding Americans to show support to the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. Visit USO.org to locate military care package and see how you can make a difference today. This message brought to you by Epoch Construction, #1 artisan contractor backed by over 20 years of experience. For outdoor living spaces, roofing, and all exterior work, give the pros a call today at 615-766-5490. That's 615-766-5490. Epoch Construction. They're professionals who care. Time now for the WNSR Braves broadcast schedule update. Brought to you by Klein Preston Law Group.
On Monday, May 1st, your Atlanta Braves are traveling to take on the New York Mets. Pre-game coverage, 11:55 a.m. Wednesday, May 3rd, the Braves are on the road to take on the Miami Marlins. Pre-game coverage, 5:25 p.m.
This has been the Braves broadcast schedule update, brought to you by Klein Preston Law Group. Online at kleinprestonlaw.com. On WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. You're listening to the McFarland Show live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
615-844-5600 is the number. Phone and text line for the show. Nate in Columbia wants to weigh in. Speaking of that, Nate, what's up?
What's up, Darren?
How you doing?
Good, man. How about you?
Fantastic.
Man, we have had a great first round of the NHL playoffs. I am truly shocked that Boston actually got knocked out in the first round.
Amen, man. I've been glued. Game 7, Rangers and Devils, was heard here on these airwaves last night. We had a Game 7 over the weekend. Seattle beating Colorado was amazing on the road. Toronto.
Which is it Michigan that keeps giving out the picks?
Yes.
Dude, I took full advantage.
I told everybody, you better listen to him. We better. And he said, by the way, he said he was going to call in. He was going to be the first caller today, and he didn't call in. I knew exactly what he meant. He reached out to me and said, hey, I'm going to be the first caller today. And I was like, I know where this is going.
But,
he didn't even tell me.
Yeah, man.
So you have then Boston, wow. I was glued to that. It's just amazing. I tweeted out the last 10 years of the President's Trophy winners in the National Hockey League, and I don't know if you've seen the graphic or not. SportsCenter put it out there Monday night.
Y'all were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, it's amazing. One team in the last 10 years made it to the conference final, and all the rest of them were out in the first round or most of them in the second round.
Now, I'm really interested to see what happens with Toronto going forward.
Yep, me too.
And I don't know how you feel about this, but I listen to that I listen to the 32 Thoughts podcast regularly, and they said that Toronto playing Tampa was a good warm-up for having to face Tkachuk in the second round.
Yeah. Look, they have exercised their demon, right? Their first-round demons. What was it, 6 years in a row? They have been ousted in the first round. What is it, first time they've been in the second round since 2004, I think that's right?
Yeah, I remember something about 2004. I couldn't remember if that was playoffs altogether or...
No, it's not playoffs altogether. It's okay. Second round because they've gone out in the first round 6 years in a row. Yeah, now that's heartache right there.
Oh, yeah. Hope that doesn't happen here, but we'll see. But if it takes getting not or missing the playoffs for that long to get a great player, I've been consistent. I'd be up for it.
Yeah, you have been. By the way, some former Preds factored in those games we were talking about. Eric Haula finishing off the night last night for the Devils over the Rangers. Nick Cousins with Florida. Of course, you've got Ellie Tolvanen out in Seattle.
Which he only has 3 points in those 6 games, Tolvanen.
Yep, that's true. Nate, thanks for the phone call.
How's it going, man?
Toronto tonight hosts Florida. That'll be the first game, and then it'll be the Stars hosting the Kraken in the nightcap. Tomorrow it'll be the Devils in Carolina to take on the Hurricanes, and Edmonton and Vegas will tangle out in the desert tomorrow night. That will do it for our show today. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then.